back to the Daily Dribble podcast, guys. As always, I'm your host, Nick Zammit. The band is back together after a little hiatus due to COVID. Joining us after a week off, might I say, Mr. Lee Hancock.
Gotta say, it feels good to be back.
I know it's good to be back.
I know it was only a week, but to me it felt like a bloody eternity.
It did, and although we had a little bit of separation anxiety, we managed to get an episode out last week. Also joining us, Mr. Roy Hancock.
Yeah, how are we going?
How good is it to back on the couch today? The lads are here fit and firing, aren't we?
Back in the stew.
It's like we never left, but yeah, there was a big hole with Lee not here last week, wasn't there? But glad that we could still get the ep out, Nick, and looking forward to this week as well.
I tell you what, we do have a... you know what I'm going to say. It's good. It's a massive episode in store today.
Put it on repeat.
On repeat. I can pretty much just plug that into our normal intro.
Yep.
It is a massive episode. We are approaching both the playoffs for the NBL and the NBA. Mm-hmm. And with that, today we're going to look at the all-NBA teams. It's probably one of the hardest things to decide throughout the year, and especially at the back end, trying to condense, I guess, the league's talent, overall the talent in the league, down to 15 players and into 3 teams.
Yes.
It's not an easy feat, is it?
No, and it's going to probably be a bit of a spark for debate, not only amongst us, but also our listeners. So we're looking forward to hearing what you guys think of that. We'll also do our first team for all rookie and all defense.
Yep.
Before we get into that, though, guys, we'll rip through some odds and ends, a couple of quick points from both the NBA and NBL that's occurred throughout the week. Before we get into that, though, bit of housekeeping. A big shout out to both the Spotlight Sports Network and The Cover. We really appreciate, it's awesome to be, I guess, part of 2 networks, one in Australia, one in the US, that are really helping up-and-coming sports podcasters and sports enthusiasts to, I guess, share their creative side with the world. So we really appreciate what both of those entities are doing there. As well, guys, be sure to check out all of our socials, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. Big emphasis on the Instagram this week. Big shout-out, Ro, you've taken it under your wing.
Yes.
We've got the reels happening now.
We've got the reels happening.
Reeling them in, mate.
We're reeling them in, reeling the views in, I'll tell you that much. But goodness me, it's we thought it was time to integrate a bit of video content into the Instagram, and yeah, it's been going well.
Because you want to see the faces behind the mics, don't you?
They're great little teasers as well.
Absolutely.
Teasers to go watch the episode. You know?
So if that doesn't entice you to check out the episode, I don't know what will. Speaking of the episodes, be sure to like, subscribe, share, wherever you listen to the show. We really appreciate all the continued support.
Yep.
Awesome. Let's do it, guys. Some odds and ends here. Let's start with the big news that came out during the week. Real big news for you here, Ro. With Rob Williams suffering a meniscus tear in his left knee. He has since undergone surgery this week, but he's looking at 4 to 6 weeks on the sideline. So as a best case scenario, looking at a second round return there.
Yeah. So from what I've heard, it's sort of towards the 4 weeks, which will put him back in contention for that second round. Obviously, the Boston Celtics have to get past the first round for him to even, be a consideration of coming back. But it's such bad news for a team that's been defensively one of the best teams in the league this
100%.
year, particularly in the back half of the year.
Yep.
And he was a key anchor behind why we'd been so good defensively. He and Marcus Smart.
Big lineup with him and Horford.
Yep.
Horford's more the kind of the stand and deliver, where Williams kind of brings that athleticism. Like he has been phenomenal this year and has really kind of come into his own. It's one of the top, like a premier big man within the league.
I guess it's lucky they got Ticey back in the end, though, because
who would have thought we'd be saying that?
I love Ticey.
If they didn't, they'd be in a bit of trouble right now. But who are they starting Ticey now, or are they starting Horf?
Well, Horford was starting before. I think they've just running with the one big lineup, I reckon, at the moment.
Yeah, that's the thing. Without Rob Williams,
because they've got Grant Williams in the starting lineup. With Smart, Tatum, Brown, and Horford.
Yes. Now, Rob Williams to me is sort of like Brook Lopez is to the Bucks in terms of, I think without Rob Williams, I struggled to see us going to, for example, the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay.
With Rob Williams, the sky's the limit for the Celtics.
Well, they jumped to the number 1 seed during the week. It's horrible timing because it did coincide with that injury there. Good news, though, that it is only that 4 to 6 weeks, and hopefully it can get back for a second round matchup there. So it is a big loss now. Just on that basis, Ro, what you've seen, if he comes back, they successfully make it to the second round. What do you give their chances of a title here? As our resident Celtics man with your green hat on, do you think they're a legitimate threat?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I do. It took me a while this year it took the Celtics a while to get up and going, and I think it took me a while to sort of, gather that we will be a legitimate threat if we play like we have in the back half of the year, where we've arguably been the best team in the league.
You've got the league's best defense.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, long answer short, I think with a full strength roster, we can go all the way. I have no doubts about that.
Lee, it feels very reminiscent of what the Hawks did last season. Started the season slowly, flipped the coaches around, and now they made the Eastern Conference Finals. Do you think that's a similar turnaround for the Celtics here? They didn't fire their coach, but nevertheless, that second half turnaround. Poised for a conference finals. Do you think they're in the East? Is it a possibility?
It's so hard because you could ask it for so many teams in the East, and I'd be like, but unfortunately, not all of them can make it.
Yes,
I think Celtics have as good of a chance as all of the other, real contenders do in the East. Yeah. And especially if Rob Williams is there, then they're going to be,
Yeah, they're going to be in contention.
I agree. A team partly because I love bashing on you, Ro, and the Celtics Lakers rivalry there, but I've become a bit of a believer now as well. I think, I still would probably have the Bucks above them, possibly the 76ers. The Nets are scary when they're at full strength, but the Celtics are right in and around the mix now. So they're going to turn some heads. It's going to be a fascinating playoffs there in the East. Looking forward to that.
Guy that's out, Rob Williams. Guy that's coming back in, Gordon Hayward. I feel like it's been several months that he's been out.
Yeah, it's been a very long time.
He's coming back in the next couple of games versus Philadelphia 76ers. The Hornets have been great without him. They've held their own. They've secured that play-in spot.
They're kind of like a roller coaster. They had that big dip, and now they've started to just get the ship back on track when it matters most.
And it's surprising because in the past, I'd say 2 years, they've had a horrid end of the season run. But they did have a very tough starting schedule to begin the season, and they're kind of riding home with a lot of home games. But what do we think, Gordon Hayward? Do we think it'll be easy to integrate him back in, or do we think it'll be a bit hard?
Well, I think he was already integrated into that team. It's sort of just picking up where you left off to a certain extent. So I don't think it's going to take a hell of a lot of adjusting from a Hornets perspective. I think that's a huge inclusion. If you can get a healthy Gordon Hayward, the Hornets have my eyebrows raised when it comes to the playoffs.
Is it a rock one eye? Double.
Well, yeah.
What have you got? Can we all do it? Can we do the one?
No, I might. No, I think you're alone there, but you could do it best there, Nick. But no, the Hornets are intriguing.
What I'm cooking?
Go on, the joke's gone.
No, it's gone.
Been and gone.
Overkill. All right.
I tried to bring it back.
Flogging a dead horse.
Yeah.
But they are a fascinating team, aren't they? And that extra scoring option and ball handling will be really, really beneficial to them.
I've got to say, with the exception of the Suns, I think the Hornets have probably the second best chemistry among all the teams in the league. Like the Suns are next level. They're just dancing before games. But I don't know if you've seen like the Hornets locker room and their pregame. They're fun. They're fun.
Are they? Are the Bucks not fun though? It was fun when Robin Lopez was there in the WWE skits.
Yeah, that is fun. I love that.
But and it makes such a difference, doesn't it? Especially if you're a team that doesn't have that top level of talent. Not taken away from LaMelo, Rozier, and Crew alike, but that chemistry does play a really important factor into it.
Definitely does.
Excellent, lads. During the week, the Pelicans signed undrafted. Sorry, I've got a little frog in the throat here.
Well done.
Who'd they sign?
Jose Alvarado, undrafted player. They signed him to a 4-year, $6.5 million deal. He's really, really been quite. I don't know what the word is. It's almost exciting to watch him the last couple of weeks. Have you seen the play he's doing? Hiding at the back of the baseline on the opposition inbounds, and then kind of creeping his way behind them to get the steal.
Well,
he's a snake. It looks like all the memes that were going around the RKO out of nowhere. He looks like he's coming up ready to hit that, and he's very Viper-like.
He's already earned a nickname. Grand Theft Eldorado.
I did see that. He's done it about 5
that.
or 6 times now, and it's but again, just another wicked story. It's very reminiscent of that Fred VanVleet, undrafted, getting the contract, and hopefully now he can really assert himself in the league at 23 years old. But
that might be his trademark move for the course of his career. Who knows how long
now? Surely, I think it's 5 or 6 we're up to. After the third time, when you think teams would be like,
looking
right, we need to be pretty wary. But
Yeah.
He's going like back and back further.
Yeah.
Like he's finding new and inventive ways to hide now.
He's
It's
going into
incredible
the
what he's
bleachers.
doing there. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
And
So,
he is a fun guy as well. I don't know if you've seen him mic'd up or at some of his press conferences. But again, like I was saying with the Hornets, he brings that fun chemistry.
Yeah.
And that brings wins.
He's full of confidence, isn't he?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which is what you
Confidence is key. And the Pelicans are playing with confidence. And it doesn't bode well for my Lakers, who they play in a couple of hours today.
Yes.
Now let me ask, because I am not sure, because I've been seeing things. Are the Lakers out of the play-in?
They're currently sitting
Contention?
no, not out of contention. They currently sit tie with the Spurs with the equal record, but the Spurs hold the tie break above them.
Okay.
That being said, looking through today's, like if they lose to the Pelicans later today, it's effectively over.
Yes.
Granted, even if they get a win, the Spurs and Pelicans have far easier schedules remaining, so it's not looking great. I'm not throwing in the towel by any means. With LeBron on your team, anything's possible.
Yes.
Speaking of which, he's got to play 3 more games to qualify for that scoring title. So he's got to play 3 more. He went down with an ankle sprain during the week.
Yep.
Needs to get back for 3 and needs to put up some points as well, because Embiid and Giannis are right there chomping on his heels. Big game for both yesterday. So it's going to come down to the wire
It's
on
literally
that front.
so close. It's like decimals.
It
how
is.
close they are.
But speaking about LeBron, just during the week, I don't know if you guys saw this, LeBron became the youngest player to record every kind of round number, every 1,000 milestone. So from 1,000, 2,000, all the way to 37,000 points. He's the youngest to reach all of those 37 milestones.
The accolades just keep building.
It's just incredible. And it's just another stat that just shows not only what an incredible player is, but over such a long period of time as well.
Yeah.
And that's showing no signs of slowing down, almost possibly about to clinch another scoring title at 37 years old. It's really phenomenal stuff we're seeing.
Oh, it's incredible. It just goes to show how incredible of an all-around player he is. To achieve that milestone in all major statistical categories is just unheard of.
Just quick question about this. I saw a question during the week. Now, for as much as everyone says MJ's the GOAT, LeBron the GOAT, it's a real big back and forth. Do you think there'll come a point when LeBron's career is done that the counting stats will be so far superior, just in terms of, points, assists, everything of the kind, it'll be so far superior to Michael Jordan that it will give some more weight to the fact that he could be considered the GOAT?
In my opinion,
that's a deep question, because we could go on about this all day.
It is, but I feel like, in my opinion, the longer you're out of the game, the more your legend grows. So what people
the longer you're out of the game.
Yes, yeah. Okay. So if you've retired and you've been out of the game for 10 years, so people will be paying attention to your career and your statistics far more than they did when you were currently playing.
Absolutely.
And that's what I think is going to happen with LeBron. To be perfectly honest with you, I would not be surprised if in another 5-10 years after he hangs up the old boots, that people might be looking at him greater than Michael Jordan, and some people already do. So who knows? I don't want to get into that, because that's a
topic for another day.
Double header episode.
Do you think that like with the I guess the pure weight of statistics that he'll have, the like far superior counting numbers than MJ? Do you think it'll give weight to his GOAT status?
Well, I think so. But in saying that, I know everyone's GOAT talk is subjective a little bit, but it's a no-brainer that accolades go into the GOAT talk.
Absolutely.
So I'd say yes.
Well, there you go. How about this then as another little point from me?
Yeah.
In the 2017-18 season, do you know what team finished 13th?
Couldn't tell you.
In what conference?
The Western Conference.
13th, probably 17-18. Wouldn't have been the Kings. No.
2017-18, like New York.
Timberwolves.
Did you say New York?
Yeah.
The West.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about...
No, well, I'll give you a clue. It was the Dallas Mavericks, 13th place in 2017-18.
That would make sense, yeah.
14th place, the Memphis Grizzlies. And 15th place, the Phoenix Suns. Fast forward to today, Phoenix Suns are number 1. The Memphis Grizzlies are number 2. And the Dallas Mavericks are number 3.
Yep.
What an incredible turnaround for all 3 franchises in just a handful of years. Like I saw that and I was just blown away by, you look at the Suns now, since that bubble turnaround, they have become a powerhouse.
They have, yep.
Since Dallas got Luka Doncic, become, they haven't quite delivered to the level we thought they would, but they are right in and around the mix. And the Grizzlies, a team I've written off for the last few years. Even this year, my expectations weren't that high. They are right up there as well. It's a phenomenal turnaround.
It's incredible. And the other thing is, it's all about how the franchises run, because you look at teams like, for example, Sacramento. And I know we've gone on in the past about how mediocre Sacramento are, but they...
Wait, was that the word we used for our swear jar here?
Mediocrity.
Yeah, mediocrity.
Ding,
there it is.
in it goes.
Excellent.
But, a lot of credit has to go to the organization as a whole, because some franchises, such as Sacramento, get these Marvin Bagley type players, but you don't see them rising back up the standings.
I so hope we've got some Kings fans here. I so hope we've got Kings fans as listeners.
Legitimately surprised. But yeah, unbelievable effort. It's crazy how time changes. It gives you hope to some of these bottom dwelling teams, doesn't it?
I think, was it last week or the week before, we posed a question? Would you rather be on the Rockets or the Magic? Yes, let me flip that around just quickly and pose it this way. Out of those three franchises, if you were a player coming into the league at the minute, would you rather be on the Grizz, Mavs, or Suns?
Suns. Like Millicent, it's like, I think the chemistry is such a big thing for me.
Oh yeah, I do love that.
Imagine going to the Suns and
you don't reckon Mark Cuban will show you a good time?
You would, no doubt. But
I'd actually go with Memphis Grizzlies, to be perfectly honest with you. The young core, how exciting would it be? You're all coming up at the same time.
Well, that's it.
Rowe would be a veteran on the Grizzlies.
Don't do him like that.
He would be too.
Oh, he's done me so dirty there. I'd be looking down at buddy Jar like he was a
young brother.
Yeah. Oh no, Lee, you've thrown me off.
That's a fair shout. I reckon
you got me where it hurts.
That's good shout.
Now I can go to the Grizzlies. You can go to Heat with Udonis Haslam. All right.
Man, come on.
I tell you what,
Don't
that makes you feel a little bit better.
I usually bash on Nick for stuff. It's never really right.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. I like it today. Fellas, anything else from NBA odds and ends?
No, we're moving on very quickly after that.
Beautiful. From the NBL lads, last night the Jack Jumpers played Adelaide. It was really a back and forth game there, and coming out of it into the fourth quarter, the Jack Jumpers were down by around 6 at one point in the fourth there, and it was looking like, this could be trouble. And really, for their title contention, or I guess playoff hopes, it really was a must-win game. And that's when Josh Adams turned it on. The boys won 80-72. Adams dropped 31 points after a really, really commanding fourth quarter on both ends of the floor. And it sets up a massive game tomorrow. An absolutely massive game. Down here in My State Bank Arena, Tassie Jack Jumpers play the Sydney Kings in what is a huge game in terms of playoff aspirations, in terms of just excitement factor, and in terms of, for myself, my back pocket here.
Your bank account.
Yep. Shout out to the blokes, absolute legends from the Fifth and Dribble podcast. Guys, check them out. Incredible podcast talking everything NBA, NBL, and NRL. The lads from New South Wales, they've thrown down the gauntlet during the week and want to have a little wager. Mm-hmm. So I've raised my hand here.
What's up for grabs?
Put my cape on. We have a carton on the line.
Okay.
So a couple of sweet tin musics there on the line. I tell you what though, it's hard. The Kings are currently riding a 9-game win streak. They are looking like probably the form team in the league at the moment. That being said, I have a complete and 100% utter faith in the Jack Jumpers here. So what we saw from Adams yesterday, hopefully he can have that continue. Majet can get a couple of points on the board as well.
Particularly at home.
At home. We'll be in attendance for that game there.
We will be.
So looking forward to that. I might, I know there's a carton on the line, but I'm looking forward to hopefully sinking a few bevs tomorrow and getting that party started.
Yes.
But it should be good. It's going to be a wicked game. And if we get a win there, we are knocking on the door of a playoff appearance.
Yep.
At the minute, it's pretty commanding. Melbourne United are going to be there. It's looking like the Sydney Kings are almost a lock as well.
Yep.
But
Perth
then
are going to be there.
Well, they're kind of in and around the mix. Illawarra, Perth, Southeast Melbourne, Phoenix, and us are in it. But you would think Perth are going to be there.
Perth will be there.
What is it like? It's an 18-year run or something consecutive. It's the longest continuous, I guess, finals appearances for a sporting team in Australia across all codes. So.
But back to the Jack Jumpers, because we love talking about the Jack Jumpers. Regardless of if we make the playoffs this year or not.
Phenomenal season.
Absolutely perfect inaugural season for the Tassie Jack Jumpers. We really couldn't have asked for any more.
And mind you, doing it over the last month or two without Will Magna.
Exactly right. Who's such a key cog.
One of the best bigs in the league. Adds such another dimension to what they do on both ends of the floor. So it really has been, hard on the sleeve effort. It's
That's-
wicked. I'm looking forward to seeing our mate Scott Roth tomorrow
Scott,
fire
yeah.
up. So, guys,
Man.
looking forward to that big game. Check our socials. We'll be. I tell you what, though, the reception's not great there in My State Bank Arena, but
No.
we'll be trying to keep posts active and I guess gauging the excitement of how I'm feeling on our bet based on the
Yes.
scoreline. But
So where do you need to send a carton to if you lose?
it's New South Wales. But
Jeez, what's the shipping on that?
yeah, I'm just thinking we
Ooh,
might do the
just
old
send them
send the
bank,
cash.
yeah.
Yeah, BSB and account number, please, boys.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking that when we said it, I was like, ooh, that's gonna be pretty costly on the old
Pricey.
bank balance.
The old
But
career rates, yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care as long as I win. I don't care. They can send me the carton. All good, fellas. Let's move ahead.
The Daily Dribble.
Now, favorite part of the show, isn't it? It's got to
It
be
is.
the favorite part of the show. It is time to pay the bills, lads. Right. Our friends at Manscaped. Hey, what a tune, by the way.
Yeah,
It's just
actually,
a little-
every time it turns
It's just
on,
got a
sorry,
real
but-
bop to it. We love it.
Yes.
Guys, our partners at Manscaped, we are super, super proud to be aligned with them, not only for everything they do in terms of the products,
Yep.
in terms of their commitment to helping aspiring podcasters and entrepreneurs in terms of partnership,
Yep.
but also what they do in terms of cancer awareness.
Yep.
April is Testicular Cancer Awareness Month. Oh,
That's
that
a
rolled off the
mouthful.
tongue, didn't
Come out
it?
right,
yeah.
That wasn't bad. But we're super proud. They have really got a real emphasis this month on making men aware that, you need to get checked.
Absolutely. So important.
We have a smile, we have a laugh about our balls and whatever else. But one thing to not laugh about is cancer.
No.
So we're super proud to be aligned with Manscaped for the month. We're going to be running through some stats, running through a few things during the month, promoting some new products that we've got here next week. But just wanting to make all men aware that, get checked.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing embarrassing. There's nothing,
Taboo about it.
Exactly right. It is your health on the line. So we
Yeah.
cannot speak highly enough of getting checked and I guess raising awareness. So we're super proud about what Manscaped's doing and to be aligned with them.
Sorry, but I
Always.
absolutely love it. Like, it does get slipped under the rug a lot because there is that taboo and embarrassment about it. But like, just even in the shower, you should often just check downstairs. If there's any lumps, you go to the GP. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I tell you what, you're in for a real treat because I did a couple of years ago. I got a swift kick to the old nutsack.
Oh, never
Never nice. Went for a
No.
little checkup, and it felt a little bit embarrassing at the time. But I tell you what, the cool gel they put over your nutsack there, it's quite refreshing and soothing.
is.
So
If we're on
Yeah.
that track, I had a testicular torsion. Remember that? So
oh yeah,
yes.
so that's like twisted nuts. Isn't
twisted
it?
nut. I was in tears
Nut
at my nan and pa's on the toilet. I went to the hospital, got my nuts chopped open, stitched back up.
Yeah.
But
Well-
check your balls.
Well, this ad read's taken a deep dark turn, but you're absolutely right, guys. 100% on board with what Manscaped are doing. We love it.
Yep.
If you want to join us, not only in terms of raising awareness for testicular cancer, but also getting products to help your nuts look as fresh as possible for when you go get a check, use that code just below.
Yep.
Manscaped.com.au, Dribble20 for 20% off as well as free shipping. Super keen next week to unveil some new products as well with you. So
Yes.
thank you once again for the support, Manscaped.
Sir.
Lovely. Fade it down.
Woo.
Fade it down.
I love it. Very excited for these new products.
Yes.
Very excited.
too.
A lot to look forward to there, lads. So, without further ado, though, the main course for today's episode was looking at the all NBA teams. So let's get into that.
The Daily Dribble.
Beautiful.
2 transitions in about 2 minutes. Love
I
that.
know, and I tell you what, we're going at a good strike rate, aren't we? We got carried away the other week with it.
It's my favourite button on the soundboard.
I
let's be
think
honest.
because what have we been going now? Like 2.5 years, I think, roughly since
Give
the
or take.
podcast
Yep.
inception.
Yep.
We've had the soundboard now for probably 2 months.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
we're just trying to make up for the last 2.5 years, trying to cram in as many transitions as possible.
Do you know what
aren't
I'm
we?
looking forward to? We'll
What's
get
that,
into
mate?
this, but just adding a few more sounds to the
Yes,
soundboard.
absolutely.
Having a cheeky push every now and then.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
there's-
Pushing buttons.
Yes.
Normally, I like to push Lee's. Might like to push yours, but
Yes.
pushing the old soundboard there.
Sorry,
Maybe-
I'm so far over. Let me have a push.
The Daily Dribble.
I thought
Imagine
we were
that.
about to get 4 or 5 transitions.
I want
and
it- I
Lee's just
really-
absolutely hammered the
Lee
button.
just lost his button virginity over here. It's,
And look at the smile on his face. You can't wipe it off.
no.
My goodness, the big
Oh,
red
dear.
button.
What sound do you make, Lee, when Nick pushes your button?
What do you mean?
What's your sound when Nick pushes your button?
Gee, I don't know. That's an obscure question.
Sorry, I just want to keep
It's
you on
like
your
a,
toes.
"Ow!"
As long as you're awake.
That's like a growl, like
It's
a high-pitched growl.
it's the steam coming out there.
Yeah. That's
Yes.
it.
Kettle.
Absolutely. Fellas,
Kettle.
guys, we love doing this. As we said, this is no easy task trying to condense all the league's talent down into 15 players, 3 teams.
Yeah.
It is always a big point of debate, controversy.
Yes.
But nevertheless, we would love to hear what you guys think of our teams, where we went right, where we went wrong. Let us have it. We're big boys. We can take it. Hit us up on our socials. We're always up for a chat. Big thank you to everyone during the week that got involved. We've had a couple of good conversations on our posts during the week. We love it. So a big thank you for all the continued support.
Yep.
Let's do it, lads. Do you want to start with the
Let's start with
third team or first
start
team?
with first.
Let's
Go
do
first.
I can
because it
go
might be
first
pretty
if you
solid.
like.
So let's start 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center in these teams. That's the format we've run with.
Okay.
So Lee, with your All NBA first team,
Mhm.
what have you got for me, pal?
I've got in those guard spots, I've got Ja Morant and I've got Luka Doncic.
Sure.
In the forward positions, I've got Giannis Antetokounmpo,
Yep.
and I've got LeBron James. Now he could have been very interchangeable with Jason Tatum, but
Sure.
I've chosen LeBron James. A lot of people are saying, oh, he's stat padding. He's shooting bloody 53% from the field, so he's not stat padding. He's just playing great ball. And at that center position, I've gone with Embiid. And I know there's a bit of up and down between Embiid and Jokic.
Yep.
But if you want to hear my opinions on why I'm choosing Embiid, watch that debate segment a couple of weeks back because I'm not going into it.
And it hasn't changed since then, the
Hasn't
last couple of
changed.
weeks of ball.
Very hotly contested debate that was.
Well, we might rip through our first team, then we'll have a bit of a discussion about it.
Okay.
For my guard spots, I likewise have Luka Doncic and Ja Morant.
Yep.
In the forward positions, I have Giannis, and against all judgment, like I didn't see myself going this way. I went Jason Tatum,
Okay.
JT, yeah.
Yes.
and then in the center position, I've gone the big man, Nikola Jokic.
Jokic.
Yeah.
Yep. Don't mind that. In my guard positions, I've likewise gone Ja Morant and Luka Doncic, both been incredible. Forward positions, LeBron James, Giannis, and Antetokounmpo. And center position, I've gone with Nikola Jokic. Think he's MVP this year.
Okay, now let me pose this question to you both, just as we... Isn't it funny that the Lakers guy here didn't go LeBron?
I would not have picked that in a trillion years.
And the Celtics guy didn't go JT.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
He's coming up. He's coming up.
I had LeBron there initially, and then just after I did a lot of chopping and changing with all 3 teams. It was really a battle doing this. But
Yep.
for your mind, do you think without LeBron, like the Lakers, they would be down right near the bottom? Like they have looked awful at times.
Yeah.
But it feels as if, for as much as stat padding as there is, LeBron really has been that shining light to help carry them this season, has he not?
Yeah.
Well,
Is that why you?
Yeah, I shudder to think where the Lakers would be without his efforts this year.
Yep.
And I shudder to think where you'd be, Nick,
Oh,
because
mate,
you'd be in a dark corner somewhere.
I tell you what,
fetal position.
I'm hanging on for grim death at the minute. I'm getting ready to curl up and start rocking back
Yeah.
and forth.
Yep.
Based on today's game with the Pelicans, that'll be a
That'll be the
contributing
deciding
factor.
factor. Yeah.
But for yourself, Lee, for like LeBron, it's just sheer weight of numbers, what he's doing. I guess trying to drag this team as much as he can. It's no easy feat, but
And he's doing it at 37 years of age, so you can't really look past that. I wanted to get your opinion on team success and how that it affects
It correlates with
Yeah.
the
how it
NBA
correlates it. Because I saw a lot of people saying if someone doesn't put Jason Tatum in their first NBA All team and he's led them to that number 1 spot in the East, like that's saying something.
Yeah.
What do we think about that?
It holds a little bit of weight. I don't think it holds enough to determine whether a player will be on the all first team or second team. I don't look too much into that, to be honest.
it's hard because they've done so well. Like you look at what they're doing on both ends of the floor. They've got the number 1 ranked defense in the league. Jason Tatum plays a role in that, but he's not a key cog. So they're such a well-rounded team.
They are.
It's not as if it's like the Lakers where LeBron's pretty much single-handedly having to do everything. Like they've got more contributors on a regular basis, I guess, which gives more, strength to the argument that you wouldn't have Tatum in that first team. That being said, though, all 3 of our guards, we've got the same ones there. Luka and Ja. Has that been something, like, especially as of late, the second half of the season, Luka started quite slow.
He did.
But he's playing near at an MVP level as well, isn't he? He's been phenomenal lately, and the Mavs up to third in the West as well.
I still find it unbelievable that the Mavs are sitting at third, based off the fact that their second best player is Spencer Dinwiddie. And I know,
Yes,
I
love it.
I have been.
Wait,
down
did
on
you say second best?
in the Mavs?
Close.
No, he's probably second.
Or who are you thinking?
I was going to say Jalen Brunson. That guy is
I do love Jalen.
I am
Yes. Yep.
so high on him.
Mm.
I think I might have given, or maybe not. He was my pick for sixth man of the year, but then he's come into the starting lineup and
Yeah.
bowled out.
I guess my point with
But
the
yeah, no, sorry.
my point with the Dallas Mavericks though is it's not like, apart from Luka, they're not a star-studded team. They've just got a lot of sort of
They're fun.
role players.
They are fun.
Chip on their shoulder.
Chip
sort
on
of,
their shoulder. Hopefully get Timmy Hardaway back just to have
Yes.
another offensive option.
Yep.
Off the bench now. I think that's his role.
It
They look
has to be,
pretty solid in that small ball lineup they've currently got going at the moment. Ja Morant, Lee, how do you feel? Do you think now, again, it comes back to what he's done in the numbers sense. But as we spoke about last week, you look at their record without him.
Yeah,
Like they've been doing better without him.
Yeah.
Or based on record. Does that almost take away a little bit from what Ja's doing?
I don't think so, because they're fantastic with him as well, and the leap he's made and the excitement he brings to the game and also the stats he brings. That all these combine to why I put him on my first team.
Yep.
Like there's other players you could put in there, and we'll get to them later. But I think for me, Ja is deserving of that first spot.
Fellas, all pretty solid across the board there. I don't think any too big surprises.
Not too big surprises. I just want to have a rant before we move on to that second team.
Look at the steam just coming out of the ears again. Here we go. I feel like I better start pushing some buttons here. What do you got? Let's have it. Jeez.
I find it
Set the time.
I find it absolutely utterly ridiculous that Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic are eligible for the center spot and the forward spot on the NBA All Team. Yeah. Now both of them have played 0 minutes at that forward spot.
Yeah.
And they've just started it this season just to cater for both of them to get in the NBA All First Team is just ridiculous. When you look back in history, when you had players like Kareem, like David Robertson, Shaq, like all players in that kind of era competing for that NBA All Team, and to just cater for these two now, it's not fair.
I'm 100%. Give me a little fist bump there, man. Because normally I love riling you up, and you and I love a good debate, but I'm 100% on board with you. I think it is just ridiculous the way that's being done.
Yeah.
And I think, what do you guys, how do you feel about this? Going forward, do you think they should make it almost scratch positions?
Yes.
5 best players, you get awarded all NBA first team.
If they're going to do this, yes, definitely.
Like, because it does, trying to cater, trying to change circumstances, trying to force people into categories that they've not been a part of all year. It detracts from the actual, I guess, the weight of being all NBA first team when you've kind of been, given the position that's not rightfully yours. I'm 100% in agreement here.
Me too.
And it is very frustrating.
And if you're Embiid or if you're Jokic and you make that second team, you just take it on the chin. You take it on the chin.
At the end of the day, no one looks at if you're first, second, or third team. They just say they
all NBA.
X-play. You've made all 16
Literally
times all NBA players.
The top 15 players in the league right now.
Yep. No, I'm 100% on board with you. I'm glad you said that, Lee, because I've got your back there, Jack.
I wish we had a clapping sound effect.
So do I. We can't really use a transition, the daily dribble.
We'll get onto that.
Let's go ahead, Roy, with the second team. I reckon now we might start to see some differences occur. What have you got for us?
At the point guard position, I have Stephen Curry. Incredible season when he hasn't been injured. At the shooting guard position, I have Devin Booker, who likewise, along with Luka Doncic, has been incredible, particularly since CP3 has gone down. Small forward position, I have Jason Tatum.
JT.
Power forward position, I have Kevin Durant. Center position, I have Joel Embiid.
Alrighty, okay. I'll follow it up. Now, the first name I'm going to mention, I'll just put that I did look up position, what he was given, because it's a real coin flip as well in this regard, which
I think I know where you're going to go.
Just saying. In the 2 guard spots, I have DeMar DeRozan and Devin Booker. In the 2 forward positions, I've got Kevin Durant and LeBron James, followed in with center Joel Embiid.
Mm-hmm. Like that.
I've got in those guard positions Steph, and I've got Trae Young in there too. I do. Forward positions, I've got Jason Tatum and KD. And at that center spot, I've obviously got Yokes.
Trey Young in the second team.
Yep. I don't know.
Sorry, give me. So who were you had? Steph Curry and Trey Young.
Yep, both of them.
Oh, how's that shooting from beyond the arc?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, okay.
Near impossible to guard.
And it was such a toss up between him and D-Book, but I've gone with Trey Young.
I'm kind of shocked, and neither of you guys. There's not much love for DeMar happening here.
Well, I thought DeMar was a small forward,
Yeah,
which is why I didn't.
It's such a grey area, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we could it really is annoying. I think they need to scratch it. I reckon we petition that to the NBA.
I did screenshot a little thing saying what percentage they've played.
I want to
see.
Good.
I want to see. DeMar DeRozan's played 0 minutes at guard.
Oh, what?
He's played 91% at forward and 9% at center.
That's okay. We're not going to change
Nick,
it now.
Oh,
0 minutes at guard.
oh,
That's
yeah,
all right.
okay.
It's fine.
That's okay.
In saying that, it's hard to put a player of DeMar DeRozan's standards, particularly after the year he's had this year, in the third team.
Yes.
If we're going just off players alone and how they've performed, God, he's probably one or two. But
it's kind of like the sense as well with like PG as well. Like Paul George, do you consider him a guard? Do you consider him, a small forward?
it's great.
Same with LeBron. He could be classified as center as well, or a point guard.
I agree.
Yeah, it's weird. So we'll press on nevertheless with the third team. In my two guard spots, I had Chris Paul and Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm.
The two forward positions, I had Pascal Siakam and Jimmy Butler. And for that third center spot, I had Karl Anthony Towns. Lee.
Okay. I had D-Book in my third team. I had Donovan Mitchell. I had DeMar DeRozan. I had Pascal Siakam, just like you. And I put Cat at that center spot. It was very hard between Cat and Rudy Gobert, but I've picked Cat.
Agree.
I give more weight to offense, don't we?
Yeah, we have to. I've gone with CP3 at my 1, Donovan Mitchell at my 2, DeMar DeRozan at the small forward, Pascal Siakam at the power forward, and Karl Anthony Towns at the center position.
To be honest, I could very quickly, just looking at what we've just said, bump Jimmy Butler out of that third team, put DeMar down into a forward spot and bring in I had just as notable omissions. I had Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Trey Young, another guard in there, easy. But just on that. So Siakam, I tell you what, the Raptors, they're currently sitting 6th. They're only, I believe, half a game or a game behind the Bulls there for 5th. Only 2 games back of 4th. They have really come along in leaps and bounds and surpassed my expectations. They've been wicked.
I feel like they've almost gone under the radar.
They have
as well.
100%.
They haven't got zero attention. I don't know if it's because they're up there in the what's it called, Maple Leaf.
Yep. Up in the Great North there.
They've been forgotten about almost. They've had Pascal Siakam, his season as well has gone under the radar.
Yes,
I think he hasn't had many off nights, and I know this firsthand because I've had him in my fantasy team.
I'm glad we got him in there, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
It's good that he is getting some recognition, whether it's from us or other media outlets out there. He's starting to gain some traction and putting in consistent performances now, Lee.
I mean, because we hadn't seen that in the past. We hadn't seen consistent performances from Pascal Siakam, and now we are. On terms of the Raptors, I think coming into the season with Kyle Lowry exiting,
we had him low, didn't we?
We did. We had him low, but I'm also had him. I assumed they wouldn't have a sense of direction and they'd be a bit lost without Kyle Lowry. They completely silenced me because they're sitting 6th and they're looking great.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's awesome to see. Just quickly before we move on, lads, still quite a bit to get through. So, as I said, my biggest notable omissions were Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Trey Young, Rudy Gobert. Did you guys have any other big names that came to mind that you left out? Or you're pretty happy with how your teams went?
They're the main ones, I reckon. I can't think of any any others I've given really strong consideration to. Yep. But it just goes to show there's so many good individual performers this year in the NBA. We've had 15 spots, and there's still, more that thoroughly deserve a spot.
Before we move on, Lee, do you want to quickly just rip through your 3 teams again? Just so out there you guys can let us know who went the best.
Okay. First team, Ja Morant, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Joel Embiid. My second team, I've got Steph Curry, Trae Young, Jason Tatum, got Kevin Durant, and I've got Nikola Jokic. In third, I've got Wet Like Book D Booker. I've got Donovan Mitchell. I've got DeMar DeRozan. I've got Spicy P, Pascal Siakam, and I've got Cat.
Excellent. I'll follow that up. In my first team, I've got Luka Doncic, Ja Morant, Giannis, Jason Tatum, and Jokic. Rounding out my second team was DeMar DeRozan, Devin Booker, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Joel Embiid. And completing the trio of teams in the third team was Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Pascal Siakam, Jimmy Butler, and Karl Anthony Towns.
And best for last, I've got Ja Morant, Luka Doncic, LeBron, Giannis, and Jokic in my first team. Second team, Steph Curry, Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid. Third team, CP3, Donovan Mitchell, DeMar DeRozan, Pascal Siakam, and Cat.
Fellas, very good. With these next two, we're going to do the all rookie first team and the all defense first team. We'll rip through these pretty quickly. On the all rookie first team, Rogue.
All rookie first team. So I've gone.
I reckon we'll be probably pretty similar.
Yeah, I think so. So I've gone with in the guard positions, Cade Cunningham and our personal favourite, Joshy Giddey. Small forward position, Scotty Barnes. Power forward position, Franz Wagner. And centre position, Evan Mobley.
Yep. Well, I'll just reiterate that. That was my team as well.
Yep.
To be
Also
honest,
mine.
Same team as well.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. The only thing that was no, I was always going to put Giddey in, but like the only thing, Jalen Green has made a bit of a case in the second half of the year as well. He's been on a bit of a run.
I agree.
He's looked really, really good as of late. So, you could argue, especially with Giddey being out. I nearly put Green in. It was just for the fact that Giddey won those, was it 3 or 4 Western Conference Rookie of the Month players in a row that I kind of gave it
He
to
got
him.
the patriotism vote, didn't he?
Absolutely. And the fact that we're so high on him, you couldn't not put him in. So awesome stuff there on the all rookie teams. Easy stuff. Lee, what have you got for us in the all defense team? This one was hard.
It was.
I have at the guard positions, I've got Marcus Smart and Mikal Bridges. At the forward positions, I've got Jaren Jackson Jr. and Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I've got Rudy Gobert at that center.
Ooh, okay.
This
is hard because
it wasn't too hard.
Well, it wasn't hard. The only I'll just say Mikal Bridges isn't in my team because I was looking. I saw him as a forward.
He's a small forward.
No, we'll give it to you though. That's the same as and that's beside that. If he was a guard, he would have made my team.
Okay.
So he was very unlucky to miss out. But for my two guards, I had Marcus Smart and Drew Holiday.
Yep.
In the two forward positions, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Giannis. And my center is actually Rob Williams.
Oh, I love that.
Rob, yeah.
Yes. Yep. No, that's incredible. My guards are Marcus Smart, who should win depoy. Matisse Thybulle.
Ooh, bit of Aussie flavour.
Another
here we
patriotism vote.
Hand on your heart as you say it, mate.
Oh, yep. Small forward, Mikal Bridges. Incredible. Power forward, Giannis. Center, Bam Adebayo.
Bam.
Big Bam, yeah. Bam was an honourable mention for me. Likewise, Evan Mobley as the rookie was... he wasn't far away. He was in and around the mix.
It's crazy to have I don't know who the last rookie who would have been in depoy contention would be. It's hard to know off the top of the head.
Yeah.
But,
I tell you what, he was in and around the mix. I was trying to find a way for him to get in there as I was looking through some notes and watching some footage, some stats and whatnot. I was like, is there a world in which I can get him in? And he just missed out. But what a wicked season for him.
He's been incredible.
Season.
But a quick fact, sorry, can I just say this?
Go.
In the 39 years of the Defensive Player of the Year being implemented into the NBA, only one point guard has won it, and that was Gary Payton in 96.
The glove.
Yep. So I really hope Marcus Smart can win it.
So do I. It has been an award dominated by the big men.
Yep.
It'd be wicked to see that narrative change because you can see if Marcus Smart wins it this year, you certainly see a world in which the next couple of years Thybulle wins it. And Mikal Bridges as well, even as a forward, you can see him winning it too. So it might be a bit of a turning point with the award that it starts to transition more winners in that guard.
Is it just
roles.
me, just with Mikal Bridges quickly? Has he transformed his game to a certain extent? Because
I think so.
I always thought Mikal Bridges was a pure stand and shoot 3-point shooter from the corner, knock it down
100%.
every single time.
100%.
I never knew he had as much defensive ability as he did.
It almost felt like when he got that, what was the contract he got? Was it like 4 years, 90 million or something?
Yeah, it was a
Similar to
hefty
that.
one.
No, it was a hefty one.
Yeah.
I almost feels as if at that point going into it, the franchise said, right, we'll give you the bag, but we need you to do X, Y, and Z for us.
Show up on
You know,
both ends.
hypothetical, of course, but it looks like he is doing that. Like since
Yep.
that point, his game has transformed. Like he is locked down and having that weapon on the offensive end as well. Huge.
Massive.
Huge. Lads, well done there. I think we've done a pretty good look. I think all three of our teams are very, very solid in the all NBA guard. Unanimous across the board in the all rookie category there. And
Yep.
for the defensive teams, very
Pretty
happy
similar.
with that. Guys, as we said at the top of the show, we'd love to hear what you think, where we went right, where we went wrong. Have at us. Let us know. Is it Lee? Is it myself? Or is it Ro? Who did the best job here today? Good stuff. Let's move ahead.
The Daily Dribble.
Okay, we're going to do again the week that was, just in these kind of rapid questions. Quite enjoying getting these hard-hitting questions done in a quick time frame. It just puts you, it's like a hot potato, isn't it?
Yeah.
It does. Keeps you on your toes.
So, a couple of questions here today for you lads.
Mm.
Spurs or Lakers? Who's making the play-in?
Spurs.
Yeah, at this rate. Oh, actually, isn't AD coming back though?
I need to have a look. Him and LeBron were both game time decisions for today.
Look, if like AD and LeBron can play like 90% or like 80% of the games remaining, I'll go Lakers.
Tell you what, they've got a bloody tough schedule remaining. Damn, their schedule sucks.
Yeah.
I think today, like they've got the Pelicans today, which is not going to be an easy game. The only other easy game they have with teams below them
Thunder,
is
is it?
the Thunder.
Yeah.
Mm.
They've got, a horrible looking lineup. The Warriors, the Nuggets, a couple of other teams. It's not looking good. So you're saying,
Well, within that light, probably the Spurs. And if they're coming up with against like Bucks and 76ers, I'll go Spurs.
Spurs,
Yeah,
bro?
Spurs for me.
Oh, shit.
Back to
Oh,
your
Can't
boys.
dog
Back
your
to your
boys.
All right, then. Purple and gold. Come on, they're getting there. They're getting there. A
Yeah.
very non-confident pick.
Yeah.
Okay, in the MVP race then,
Mhm.
has Giannis jumped Embiid, do you think?
Yes, he has. He
Yep.
certainly has. For a long time there, and it would just be a quick answer, but for a long time there, it was Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic
Yep.
as the clear 1 and 2, and Giannis was just making up the numbers in that third spot.
But pretty clearly ahead.
But
in that
pretty
number
clearly
three, wasn't
ahead.
he? Yeah.
But now his performance in the last few weeks, he's in that number 2 spot for mine now.
It's hard for me to say because I've talked so highly about Joel Embiid, and I'm not taking anything away from Joel Embiid's seasons because it's been outstanding. But I'm gonna say he's jumped to that spot as well. I think I saw like the last like 10 games of Giannis's, and his points were just like 35, 40, 45,
it's crazy.
30, 45.
He's unstoppable.
And like doing it the other day, big win against the Nets. OT hit that huge 3 to 4 OT there.
Then the block.
Oh, he's do you think so? I guess if let's say they're 1 and 2
Yep.
on the fact of recency bias and storyline, who gets the nod? You've got the reigning champion Jokic, but you've also got the 2-time back-to-back champ before that, Giannis. Which way do you err inside of a narrative for that?
Are you saying right now or at the end of the season? Because
Let's say right now.
I can say right now, I cannot say towards the end. I'm going to go Jokic.
Yeah, look, I've backed Jokic for a
Yeah.
little while now. I think he's still at that number 1 spot for mine.
What if the Bucks can clinch like the 1st or 2nd seed? Does it change?
If honestly, if Giannis has the games he's been having the last 10, God, I'd say Giannis takes it.
In terms of the scoring title and the MVP, this has got to be probably the closest races we've ever seen.
Yeah.
This is
for
incredible, and it feels like it's going to come down for both those accolades the last game.
As Lee said, it's decimal points at the moment.
It is. It's incredible. I'd love to. I tell you what, we just need to sit down and soak in it all because we will never have a race again like this.
No.
With 3 in both categories, 3 top tier contenders. It's a game of millimeters, and it feels at the moment one bad game.
Yep.
Especially on the scoring front and MVP is going to cost them. So looking forward to seeing how.
I'll
that
tell you
plays
another
out.
thing we may never see again, and that's a 37-year-old averaging 30 points for the season. I
Isn't
can't
it
get my head
crazy?
around it.
It's just I can't process it.
No,
Yeah.
3 years off.
37
full
years
road.
old.
Yeah, it's
37. If I
Stop
can
it.
still squat at that point, I will be absolutely stoked.
yes. Yep.
Incredible stuff there. Lads, it's been it's hard because they've had a lot of injuries this season, especially in the back half. They've weathered the storm, but will Cleveland win the playing matchup? Will we see them in the playoffs?
Or who's in it? Right
So
now?
at the moment, they currently sit as the 7th seed.
Yep.
At the time of, so I guess excluding today's games, because everything changes so quickly, they would be facing Brooklyn in the opening round. Then they would play either, if they were to lose that, they would play the winner of the Hornets and Hawks.
If they're versing Brooklyn in the first round, they're
Because
not
it seems
winning
they're
that.
2.5 games back now of the Raptors in 6th. It doesn't seem like they're going to make the playoffs initially.
Yeah.
Sorry,
They're not going to beat Brooklyn. Sorry, they're not going to. Who was the other teams? Hawks and who?
Hawks
Charlotte.
and-
Charlotte. They're not winning.
Oh.
Charlotte,
so that's it, you reckon, the Cavs season?
Cavs. Yes.
Take the teal glasses off, I reckon.
You reckon they don't win 1 or 2?
If they, no,
No.
I'm backing my boys.
There you
Yeah.
go. You got to.
Yeah, you do have to.
Joe, what do you think?
I don't think they'll be getting past Brooklyn, but I do think they'll be getting past whoever they face out of Atlanta and Charlotte Hornets. They've had an incredible season this year. It'd almost be like it almost.
But
wouldn't-
sorry,
yeah.
just quickly before you carry on, let me
Yeah.
just put the little point on. At the moment, Brooklyn, Charlotte, and Atlanta all sit with a record of 40 and 37.
Yep.
So that's just based on the tiebreak. That is very interchangeable.
It is.
And Charlotte has a good run home, by the way.
Yeah. So there you go. So,
Mostly
sorry, I
home
should have
game.
mentioned that. They all three of that 8, 9, and 10, the same exact record.
That's a tricky
So
one.
that really kind of almost changes the equation. a
It
little
throws
bit.
a spanner in the works. I think, long story short, I'm still expecting Cleveland to make the playoffs.
I hope they do.
Yeah.
I really hope they do. I feel they deserve it. You know, they have battled a lot of injuries. They've really been the feel-good story of this year.
Yeah.
They have been.
I've loved watching what they've done.
Mhm.
Last question, fellas. If the Jazz flame out again this season, will their core be broken up?
Yep.
You know, whether that's, it looks like it's either going to be the coach, Quinn Snyder, or it's Rudy Gobert or Donovan Mitchell. Do you
Yep.
think something changes this season?
I think,
And if so, what is the pace?
I don't think they have the guts to get rid of both Gobert and Donovan Mitchell.
No, you'd think one.
No, I don't even think any of them would leave. I think they think they're sitting pretty. But I think they.
You reckon?
Yeah,
They've flamed out the last 3 years in a row. They've
I
been
know,
the
but
number one seed.
they're such good players. They're literally like top 20 players. I do think they would probably get rid of Quinn.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm in the same boat as you. I don't think they're getting rid of either Donovan Mitchell or Rudy Gobert. As we always know in the NBA and in most professional sporting leagues, the coach is generally the first cab off the rank.
Yes.
And I reckon, as stiff as it will be, Quinn Snyder might be out of Utah come next season.
I tend to agree with you there. I would like to see a pace moved, a big piece, whether it's Gobert or Mitchell.
I'm not saying I wouldn't, because I'd love to see one of them move on. I just don't think they will do it.
It just feels as if they're very stagnant. Like they're good, and that's where they're at. They're a good team. They're
Yeah.
not a great team. They've been a great regular season team this year, not so much.
Mm.
But it just feels very stagnant. Like every year, it's the same thing. Really good regular season, get the wins up, and then just flame out in the playoffs.
Well, what gets them over the line then in that case? Because I feel like they've got a perfect mix of. I do rate Quinn Snyder as a coach.
Yep.
I think he'll be valuable for whatever team he goes to if he does go.
Tell you what, I'd be happy if the Lakers snaffled him up. See if Frankie B.
I actually think that's a genuine possibility, to be honest with you. But then they've got superstars, really good defensively and offensively. They've got depth. It's a tough.
It's funny, isn't it? And that kind of begs the question, what I think, do you need to get rid of one of these players to shake things up?
Yeah.
because
Who would you get rid of him?
In a league, as we were just saying, it feels like there's more weight on offense.
Mm.
I think you get rid of Gobert. I think you get someone who can
So
maybe
tough.
You can't
because
even,
you've got someone with that level of athleticism in Mitchell. You've got, I'm just thinking who Bogdanovic. It'd be handy now in this day and age to have that stretch five, someone who can shoot the three ball a little more convincingly. Someone like a Vooch or a Miles Turner or whatever the case may be. Just something that's not so one dimensional.
Are we all going for this?
Yeah, if you
I'm gonna.
open forum.
It is so hard, but I'm gonna get rid of Spider, and I actually think Spider is a better player and more exciting, obviously. But we've seen how teams can just fall apart or just not make it if they don't have a formidable center. Rudy Gobert is the most formidable center in the NBA right now.
And can I just say how dog's ass Mitchell has been in the clutch this season?
Yeah,
in the last couple of minutes of games, I can't recall the stats, so I'm not going to give it half-hearted, but he has been one of the worst in the league in that last couple of minutes closing out a game this season.
Yeah.
So sorry,
that's all right. I was done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I'd probably get rid of Donovan Mitchell as well. I feel like Rudy Gobert is probably easier to place pieces around him. And I think you'd probably get more for Donovan Mitchell as well.
Yes.
So I feel like
I guess Donovan Mitchell's that number one, isn't it?
He
Gobert's kind of that, like
he's the absolute anchor.
Yeah, he's the anchor. Yeah. He's not the one on billboards or things of the kind. He's not the big name-catching player.
He's the meat and potatoes, as you would say, Nick.
Yeah, the meat and potatoes, absolutely. Coming into winter now down here, it's time for some bangers and mash, isn't it?
Yes, please.
An absolute favourite down here. But I tell you what, lads, we are closing in. I think a lot of teams now only have 5, 6, maybe 7 at the most games remaining. Over the next week, what are you most looking forward to?
You go, Ryan. I have a think.
I'm really intrigued to see, even though I don't think they'll make it, I'm really intrigued to see if Lakers can pull something out of their backside to somehow.
Do you reckon they throw in the towel? Do you reckon it's like pack her up to Cancun and just?
No, I reckon they're going to try for it. I reckon LeBron and AD, they'll probably be back.
Hopefully today.
Today? Yes,
hopefully today. Yeah. Today was the rumored. It was last time I saw before we started the show an hour ago.
Yeah.
Game time decision for both. But today was that reported day.
I think they'll have a genuine push at it. Don't think they'll make it.
Wow. This might be biased, but I am just so excited to see where the Hornets end up after the play-in and whether they can make it to the playoffs for the first time in however long.
Quick question for you, because we'll do, once the season's done, the finals are done. We always love doing our season recaps. It's all the grading and recapping, their season outlook.
Genuinely after a few drinks and we can look into each other.
Absolutely, I'm very keen for a beverage soon. But on that, Lee, if the Hornets flame out in the play-in, they don't make the playoffs, is this season a failure?
Yeah, I'm going to say it would be because they have the pieces and they've built the culture to make it to the playoffs. And if they don't, I'd say it would be disappointing.
For me, I think I to be honest with you, I don't think it's a failure because I think I had them at 9. So they haven't exceeded my expectations. They're where I anticipated them to be. But yeah, I mean, as a Hornet supporter, Lee would have had higher expectations.
Yeah. I think it would just be considered a failure just for the fact that, you want to get reps into these young guys, especially LaMelo, because he is the face of the franchise moving forward. But you want to get him playoff reps, even if it's a 4-0 or a 4-1. Just get these young guys in there. So I think it will be considered a failure. It feels almost like a backward step.
Apart from Gordon Hayward, I don't think any of those guys have had playoff experience ever. It's maybe Terry Rozier when he was on the Celtics, but
it's the winning culture that you want to integrate into these franchises before they only know what it's like to lose, and that's when they start to leave.
And I think the Hornets know, and I know, they're not going the stretch this year. I think it's within the years to come. But they'd see it as a massive win and such motivation just to make it to the 8 or 7 spot.
Exactly. For me, my thing I'm most looking forward to seeing, besides the Lakers, well, I don't know if I'm looking forward to seeing that, but it's to seeing that 8, 9, 10 spot in the East. Who will face the Cavs? Yeah. Most likely, unless they lose every game from here on out. But whether it's the Nets, the Hawks, or the Hornets, it's going to be an exciting little finish to the season there.
Yeah, indeed.
Guys, it has been an absolutely massive episode today. As we said, the NBA, NBL playoffs are right around the corner. Next week, we'll probably be looking at our playing matchups, looking at giving some predictions there. So super excited for that. Remember, Testicular Awareness Month here with Manscaped. Check your balls out. Give them a touch-up. We're all on board with it. Guys, like, subscribe, share. Wherever you listen to the show, we certainly appreciate it. And until next week, we're out of here.
Let's go.
Love you. Bye.